Hello and welcome to Odders Plays. Thank you very much for watching, and today I want to talk just a little bit about Xenoblade Chronicles X, the fantastic sequel to Xenoblade Chronicles that I've been desperate for what feels like forever, pretty much since the beginning of the Wii U's life, but it's here now, it's finally with us, and I am so happy that it is. What we've been waiting for with this has been totally worthwhile, and this is one of the more impressive, beautiful, and interesting open worlds I've seen, not just this year, but in years past. And let's start off by talking about the world. Now, in the original Xenoblade Chronicles, you had this fantastic backdrop of climbing up the body of the Bionis, which was your main quest to get to the top and defeat this evil robot guy that had killed some of your friends. That's never good. In this, you are just on planet Mirror, and it's completely different. And I thought, I was scared that losing that interesting body of a giant backdrop that the original had would lose some of its charm, but no, Mirror is just as fascinating and interesting as that world, if not more so. Everywhere you look, there's interesting things that you want to mount, you want to be able to climb, and you can. The developers knew people would want to be jumping up and climbing on mountains, and you can. You can jump up and climb on mountains. You can spend forever trying to get up cracks, and sometimes, just sometimes it works. Now, pretty much the entire area is explorable because usually you'd be in a scale mech suit, or you can unlock those eventually. I haven't got there yet. But you can clamber almost everything. If not on foot, then you'll find another way to do it. I can see many places already where I'm going like, well, I'm going to need a skill to get over there, but I'll be damned if I haven't given it a good shot anyway. The way you play the game is really interesting because it's filled with the usual, oh, you can do this fetch quest, you need to explore here and get some of these items, but that seems all things it's what I'm doing in the background. That's my reason for going out into the world, sure, but what I do when I get out in the world is much more random, sporadic, and it's just from whatever I see. I see a giant rooftop cavern thing and I say, I want to go look at that. I see a large enemy on the horizon, I want to just get up to him, I just want to get close and see what that's all about. It's all about my curiosity which is driving me forward, and then collecting items and doing quests is actually all a backdrop so far. There are a few quests which have led me along by the nose a little bit, but hardly. And of course there is the orb, which gives you a direction to follow, and again, it's something that I've never needed to use. It's there, and I used it once when I got lost, but that was it. That's all I ever needed it for. Absolutely wonderful. Moving on to the combat, this takes very heavily from Xenoblade Chronicles still, and there is something that loses here. In Xenoblade Chronicles, you are very reliant on your team to inflict different status ailments to your enemies in order to get the most damage, like break and topple, and more than that. In this, there is those similar topple states and stuff, but you can pretty much do all the ones that you need to do by yourself, with your party occasionally helping out. It does feel like, because there's so many more characters that you can put in your party, it's designed so if you're missing out on a certain type of character, you won't miss out on too much, but at the same time, that's taken some of the strategy out of who you select to be in battle. Regardless, still very much enjoying it. Part of me didn't like having to rely on my party in the original Xenoblade, and this ails that, but then part of me feels like it also loses something out of the battle system. Long term, I'm not sure whether I've completely decided I'm okay with that change or not, but on the whole, still a fantastic battle system, has given me a lot of variety, not to mention the new classes that will give you new arts, new ways to play your character. And these can just be changed on the fly, constantly upgraded and tweaked. Very much enjoying exploring these new classes and class systems. Discovering the world, as I said, is the main part. Combat is amazing, but what you don't get from just watching videos is this marvellous sense of scale, and that's one thing they've retained from Xenoblade Chronicles. While climbing up that body of the Bionis, the body of the beast, the body of the Titan, the body of the god, you felt tiny, you felt minuscule, you felt like an insignificant insect compared to this Titan monolith. On the planet Mirror, sure, there isn't something massive hovering above you constantly. You don't feel necessarily like an insect, but but certainly you are definitely not the biggest thing out there. You do constantly feel overwhelmed, climbing up trees and going over rope bridges. You constantly feel like you are this very small person in a very big world. Luckily you can move across this world very quickly by sprinting, but it doesn't alleviate that sense of you feeling small. But I love that feeling. I love feeling like everything around me is too big for me. It does feel like at times the developers made an ordinary sized game world and then made the player character really small, but I can't argue with it. That sense of scale really helps the entire atmosphere of the game. It's something that will keep you interested for a very long period of time. Now I'm going to wrap this up here because I still need to play more. I don't particularly like things like Frontier Nav yet, and I haven't found too many reasons to switch out my party members aside from the ones that I like, but I want to see more of the game and get to know it, get my final verdicts in before the review comes up, or at least my review. Thank you very much for watching my video. I've got to say, so far I think Xenoblade Chronicles X is pretty fantastic, and you'll be doing yourself a service to get into it, I assure you that much. Thank you very much for tuning into Oddest Plays. Stick around for more Xenoblade Chronicles X content at some point. See you next time.